You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Welcome everybody into Talladega. We are here with the Sunday Cup Racing League Winston Cup Series. They made their way from the land of the rising sun back over here to the States, and they have selected Talladega as their return journey. Last week we did see a 50-lap race that had Austin Call leading every call of the race. Matt Schlosser, though, was definitely the fastest car on track, had that 400 machine moving as he got caught up in a little early incident and made his way back up into second. Steven Johnson back into third. But when we come back to the States, we also welcome back Zach Woods. Hey, Zach, how is it going, man?
It's going really good. I'm excited to be back here up in the booth with you and being able to call this race here from Talladega. It's going to be a lot of fun, Mike. We're going to see some crazy action if practice isn't any indicative of what the race is going to look like. But yeah, I'm excited to get back in the saddle again. Had a crazy week last week and was able to observe from afar SCL action last week. It's good to be back up here and calling a great league as their Cup Series soldiers on here in their summer season.
Yeah, definitely. And you go from the Suzuka East is where we were last week to Talladega. They went from about 20 cars last week to we have, I'm going to say almost 40 right now. So they just finished up their practice session. They're going to jump on over and do their qualifying laps. And as we are under 40, we'll just have qualifying, then head right into that race session. And the race session is going to consist of 70 laps going around here at Talladega. Austin Call was able to win last time we were here, so we'll see if he's able to go back-to-back at Dega and back-to-back in back weeks here. So we'll see what happens as they are on track now.
Yeah, Talladega, of course, the wild card race of the season, if you count that, and Daytona, and then, of course, modern-day Atlanta, if you are inclined to put that on the schedule. Those are really the tracks that we see a lot of great stories come to the forefront of our conversation as plate racing. They don't have restrictor plates anymore, but that's what everybody calls them. It is definitely another discipline that is unique to the NASCAR circuit, and it does take a different kind of driver to be good at this kind of racing. You have to be patient, you have to manage your runs well, and qualifying here, Mike, is also an art because you have to get that car right up next to the wall in 3 and 4 and then maximize your speed all the way around while trying to hold a steady wheel.
Yeah, definitely. You want to get as much speed as you can into that car. And a lot of people, you know, you hear, well, I'm not going to qualify, I want to start towards the back. Well, okay, you can do that and you can try and stay out of trouble, but sometimes the best place to be is out front and you don't have to worry about anybody else wrecking your race.
Yeah, and something we don't really talk about all too often, but in my opinion, I think we should, when it comes to iRacing in particular, where you qualify is where your pit stall is going to wind up, right? So if you get the pole, you get number 1 pit stall. It's not like real life NASCAR where you have the pick starting at P1. You can what you have on pit road is where you qualify. So yeah, there is some wisdom to stay in the back, but you sacrifice what would be a premium starting spot on pit road if you master qualifying at these kinds of racetracks.
Definitely. And as we were just talking through there, it looks like Barrett Flo jumps up there with a 53.24, Todd Merkel 53.26, Bruno Latour 53.26, Jeremy Flanagan 53.26. So these guys are all up there pretty close there.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive how close the front few are here. It just shows that the slightest of mistake will cost you a shot at the front row. So taking a look now at the board, we see Justin Lewis jump up to the top.
Yeah, Justin Lewis had a great race going last week, had a little couple little incidents there, but he is on the provisional pole right now with only a few drivers left to go with the 53.23. Gary Ragland also with the 53.23.
Yeah, great effort there. We're going to definitely see some names that we're not really used to up here in the booth because just the natural case of things with these restrictor plate races, you get everybody who's kind of been waiting in the wings to hop on in and to join and race. So SCL finds themselves with a full field tonight with a whole bunch of drivers who don't normally race with the core group, anxious to maybe steal a win today.
Yeah, that is one thing that you can always guarantee. I mean, even on some of the other leagues, when they have Daytona as their opening race, that opening race has almost twice as many drivers as everywhere else. So these guys definitely are looking to put on a show. Looks like we have a couple that still haven't qualified. 33 drivers have put down a time. Steven Johnson right now out there trying to make his way to the front of the field.
Yeah, and if you haven't posted a lap now, you're not going to be able to. This qualifying is 5 minutes, and we're almost, now we're 4.5 minutes through qualifying, so you need to get out there and get your lap as soon as you can.
Yeah, it's going to be tight to see if he gets
Very
his
close.
second lap. I mean, you're talking 53 seconds a lap, so he's not going to get it. Because you have to go clear to the other end of the track, basically, here at Talladega to get to that start-finish line.
Yeah, absolutely. The start finish line here at Dega is not like a traditional speedway or not like a traditional oval, really, in NASCAR discipline. It is further on down past the tri-oval where we have seen countless times here up in the booth fantastic finishes happen between where we would assume the finish line would be and where it actually is. So pay attention to see how many passes happen tonight in that gap.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, these guys are, I mean, you would think that, you know, you race at Daytona, it's right there, right at the D right there. This one here, you have to complete that corner and you still have a ways to go. It's clear at the end of pit road. So even, you know, trying to race through and trying to get anywhere close to that checkered flag, you still have a long ways to go than you would think normally. Let's see. So these guys are going to go through their driver meeting right now. So we'll go ahead and go through the starting grid. Justin Lewis posted a time of 53.227. Gary Ragland was 0.003 off of that time. So these guys are definitely going to be tight up front. Barrett Flo, Michael Matta in row 2. Row 3 is Todd Merkel and Bruno Latour. Row 4, Jeremy Flanagan and Cody Oliphant. Then you have Maxwell Caldwell and Lilith Peters in row 5. Row 6, Ollie Marston and Chris Vanderplatz. Row 7, Rebecca Leto and Mike Peters. Row 8, David Hanna and Alejandro Montedosha.
That's how I'm. Yeah, that's how I'm going to navigate today. So I know we've had Alejandro in SCL competition in the past and makes his way back into the field. It's been a little while since we've seen him.
Definitely. Derek Wagman and Craig Forsyth in row 9. Row 10, Trevor Dalton and Lee Campbell. And you want to take the rest?
Yeah, absolutely. Starting 21st is Ronnie Hurst. To his outside is Kendall Kraft there in the 717 machine. Taking a look further on down the order here. Starting 23rd will be...
Sorry.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Sorry. Zachary Archer.
Yeah, Zachary Archer will be 23rd. I'm just trying to take a look here. There it is. Klaus Williams will roll off 24th for tonight. Let's take a look down here on our leaderboard. 25th will be Daniel Staub. 26th, Jonathan Casebeer will roll off in that 05 machine. Todd Willis rolling off 27th tonight with Matthew McMeekin starting beside him. Greg Birch, somebody you got to look out for here on the super speedways, rolling in that 51 machine. Going to start 29th with Justin Horton, name we haven't seen in a little while in SCL competition. Will start 30th. 31st is Taylor Robinson, followed by the driver of the number 44, Steven Johnson. Always finds himself up in the mix of these plate races towards the end. Joshua Yarborough will for sure be holding on to the wall tonight, as we often see that 77 machine do, back in the 33rd position, followed by Mark Brown in the 34th position. Let's see. Further on down the list here, I think that might be, well, we got a few drivers here behind here.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like they haven't got in their cars, so might be electing to either park or
start from pit.
Start from pit, maybe.
Where it's safe.
Yeah, Chris Melton, Matt Metler, and Josh Tarthill there.
Yeah, Josh Tarthill rolling off last. Boss man here for SCL competition. You have couple heavy hitters back here in the field. Adam Lowe, RC for tonight, rolling off 36th. Matt Metler is always good at plate races, starting 38th. And of course, Josh Cherritt-Hill wants to come out here a winner. So there's a few drivers that have elected to play it safe and stay on pit road.
Yeah, either elected to stay safe on pit road or start from the back. Either way, you're trying to figure out the best way to get around here. Justin Lewis is gonna have control of the field here when they get going green. He is the pole winner this week, so he'll try and improve on last week's effort. He was doing pretty well, had a couple little hiccups there, but gonna try and get that JL Racing 072 victory lane here.
Yeah, Justin's had a very strong season so far. It'd be nice to see him put a complete one together up here from the front row. But there are a lot of drivers, and we're going to mention them throughout the evening, that let's just say are newer to the party. We have, let's see, Gary Ragland here. There's a few names that are up front that are new to us when it comes to SCL competition.
Then you have the rookie Bruno Latour.
Yep. Rebecca Leto back there in 13th. Alejandro, who we mentioned earlier. So few of these drivers are going to try to sneak a win here today.
Yeah, it looks like they got the pace lights out, so should be going green this time by.
Yeah, really excited to be up here again with you here in the booth, and we're going to see how aggressive these drivers are early, aren't we? Where are they going to play nice and run around in a train for a little while? It's 70 laps here around Talladega. It's such a long time. Are they going to bide their time, or are they going to try to make their way to the front as soon as possible, where maybe some drivers would argue it is the most safe?
Yeah, definitely going to be one to watch here. We saw him in practice practicing a little bit of 4 wide, 3 wide. We'll see how it all shakes out here and how aggressive they are, as that 69 machine looked like he was going to try and suck down next to Justin Lewis there, but they have such a long time here. As you see the pace car make that left-hand turn, they'll make their way through this D-shaped turn here as they head towards that start-finish line.
The front row will be headed off by Lewis and Ragland, both in bow tie Chevys, and we are underway here at Talladega.
That inside line got a heck of a push there with Todd Merkel and Barrett Flo hooking up right on that rear bumper of Justin Lewis. Gary Ragland kind of left out by himself there. That 16 of Michael Matta was trying to push him, but still fading back a little ways.
Yes, and these drivers are going to have to learn how to get comfortable with one another here early. You see right away folks jockeying for position at outside line, all kinds of shaky here down the backstretch. Now it's Barrett Flo here in second place.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You look at some of these drivers. We have, Justin Lewis, Barrett Flo, Todd Merkel, Maxwell Caldwell. They've all raced for a while together, so they've hooked up, and it might be hard for some of the new guys to find that drafting partner that they're comfortable working with here.
Yeah, absolutely. You have a number of drivers trying to experiment there on the outside. It looks like that outside lane's starting to get a huge run. Looky here to the outside. That's the 872 machine. That's Jeremy Flanagan.
Yeah, Jeremy Flanagan pulled up in front of Gary Ragland and said, I'm going to lead this outside line, and that's exactly what he's doing, and they're working their way towards the front. You can kind of see that, I call it the accordion effect. Some people call it the snake effect, though, where they kind of can't really hold that wheel too straight as you see them go up and down the racetrack. The straighter they are, the faster they are.
Side by side here for the lead. Coming out of turn 4, Flanagan's got the momentum, but it looks like the bottom lane's a little more tight together. Let's see who's going to lead this lap. It's not here in the middle of the tri-oval. It's towards the end, and it's Justin Lewis, I believe, at the line.
Barely, but Flanagan takes the lead right after the line. But these guys are definitely throwing down some laps here as that outside line kind of stalls out just a little bit. That inside line of Lewis and Flo and Merkel are hooked up pretty well with Maxwell Caldwell back there as well.
Bottom line seems to be hooked up. As you mentioned earlier, the 4 on the bottom have raced together quite a bit through SCL competition. You have some heavy hitters back here, and then further on back through the field. Wow. Looks
Caution
like
is out.
Yeah, a huge wreck here, actually.
Yeah, let's go back and take a look here.
Oh my goodness, it's the 53 machine.
Now let's go back a little bit further. I still can't really see. At 39, looks like he gets loose and causes a lot of this here.
That's Derek Wegman in the 39. We'll have to see how the caution originates.
Oh,
Greg Birch
back here.
in that 51.
There you go. Oh, 53. Oh.
Yeah, a couple heavy hitters involved in this one. Greg Birch
out there too. Klaus Williams went off track. Lee Campbell.
also saw the
Man.
saw the 30 machine back there as well.
Oh, he almost got out of it. Just got checked in that left rear fender and sent him around.
Yeah, that's Trevor Dalton in the 30 machine in that Miller Genuine Draft. I think he took a tow actually to pit road.
Let's see what else we got here.
Ooh, little extracurricular after the fact there.
Wow.
So a ruling on this is that Taylor Robinson actually in the 12 machine, I believe, yes, in the 12 machine was given a EOL. He's currently running.
Yes. Sitting on pit road.
Yeah, driving that Nesquik machine.
Take one more look while we gotta.
Oh, it just looks like he was sort of the victim there. Maybe a little bit further back. Maybe there's something we're missing between the 12 and the 39. Because the 39 is way down there.
Here. I don't think the 12 did anything.
Oh, well, let's see. Just taking a look here.
Let's go to.
Perhaps it was just for getting back on pit road.
Yeah, it looks like it might be. Back just a little bit here. So 39 gets loose, goes off and on the track. The 53 checks up, and the 014 hits the back of him. So the 872 Chevy of Jeremy Flanagan was in front when the caution came out, so he will take over the lead. Justin Lewis in second, Gary Ragland in third, Barrett Flo in fourth.
Certainly a change of pace, right? We were cruising there for a little while. Saw a lot of good battling up front. That top lane trying to come into its own, and that bottom lane, of course, with those veterans down there on that low line, it's really hard to pry those experienced drivers from one another here at a track like this. So I think it's going to be really hard to beat if some of these rookies want to make a name for themselves tonight.
Yeah, definitely will be. And looking at the way they're going to restart, basically they're going to swap lanes. So we'll see how that affects this restart as well, because Flanagan will take the inside. Lewis will be up high, and he'll still have Flo and Merkel behind him.
Yeah, the front row here is going to be certainly interesting. We saw on the initial jump, Mike, that that top lane did not get going, did they? There was a mishap. Somebody spun their tires, and it wasn't really cohesive off the jump. We'll have to see if that changes here, as we're going to take lap 7 when we go back to the green flag.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see how that bottom line works, because like I said, you know, like we've said, we've got, looks like some guys that haven't been racing too long together anyway, because you have Flanagan, Raglan, and like Michael Matta down there on that inside row, and you have the veterans up high with Lewis, Flo, and Merkel. So if Lewis, Flo, and Merkel can get hooked up like they were, maybe that high line works a little better than on this restart than it did the previous one. But we'll have to see what happens here when we get going back to green. They're getting ready to come out of turn 4. That pace car will make that left-hand turn, and we still have a long ways to go.
Oh yeah, absolutely. 7 of 70 tonight here. If you're just joining us here on YouTube, it's going to be a long one, depending on how these drivers are going to race one another. We saw some sporty racing here in the first few laps of this, but with an incident mid-pack, we stack them all back up together and wind them up, and we're going to get going here from Talladega.
Yeah, they're working their way towards that Geico restart zone. Jeremy Flanagan will have the button this time. It goes on his call, not the flagman, as he hits that restart zone. Like he is down and away.
Good job.
And Kerry Raglan kind of stays with him, but Justin Lewis gets going way faster than Barrett Flo did. So we'll see how this affects that restart as Flanagan starts to slide up in front of Lewis there.
Well, the run will come from Barrett Flo, as there are a number of drivers stacked up behind that
16.
92 machine. Oh my goodness. Saved it. Wow.
Wow.
What a save by Michael Matta.
That is crazy. He was almost sideways and was able to save it after coming down on the apron. And he didn't lose too many spots either. I mean, he flowed back a little ways, but heck of a save there by Michael Matta.
We carry on here with Flanagan up front, but Justin Lewis now going to say, hey, I want my lead back. Will we see blocking from the leader today, jumping back and forth between lanes? It's not going to happen now, as Lewis is going to not lead that lap, but it's going to carry a lot of momentum here going into 1.
Yeah, and the thing, and just looking at the way they're running, Flo and Merkel went down to the bottom side. So Justin Lewis is up there working with, looks like Bruno Latour and Ollie Marston, 2 rookies there.
He gets hung out to dry, the 07, all the way up in that 3rd lane by himself. Left too much room for Bruno Latour. Put Latour up to 2nd now.
And Justin Lewis is going to have to figure out how he can get back down in line, as he is going backwards in a hurry here. He went from 1st. Now he's back to 17th right now, and still in that high outside lane, can't get down. We'll see how this all shakes up, but up front, Bruno Latour and these rookies are putting on a show. Bruno Latour, Ollie Marston, and Rebecca Leto.
There it is, a huge wreck from 2nd place. We're going to see it now.
Oh.
The entire field involved. Chris Vanderplatz is in it. We're just looking at him right now. The 47, Steven Johnson, you can see him weaving his way through. And look at the 07, Justin Lewis. A blessing in disguise, the free fall through the field. A wreck from 2nd place involves a ton of competitors.
Holy crap, dude. They were going good, and all of a sudden, everything broke loose.
And it happened because a late move from the 35, switching lanes, going into turn 1. You know, that could have, would have, should have been a lot bigger than what it actually was in hindsight, because the whole field wasn't all together. But it does start from Ollie Marston here, going into the corner. He's going to get a huge run in the 35. Even back further than this. It starts from a late move, pushes Latour all the way up, and then just the run is,
Here we go.
is too big.
We'll take a look here. He is all over that back bumper, trying to find somewhere to go, trying not to shove him in the wrong place, but luckily they're headed down that straightaway. Bruno Latour tries to slide down a little bit. And here they go, just working their way through.
And it was just so big of a run. He just felt like he needed to go low and try to extend this. And Flanagan goes, "Nope, you're not clear, buddy." And once you're hooked down there below that line, it is so hard to correct that car. And look at the hard hit 45 into the outside fence. Look at Todd Merkel just squeaking on through there in that 2 machine. Oh, Steven Johnson did not squeeze through this. He actually hit the 35 actually really hard there.
Right in that door. A lot of the field got caught up there, and as we're sitting here watching, there's Justin Lewis kind of just cruising through.
The free fall like he planned it, right? He was able to get away.
So that was all the rookies there on that outside lane, and they all got hooked up there. Trevor Dalton looks like he gets the wave around, and we'll get that lucky dog, get his lap back there. So we'll see what happens here, as it looks like Latour, Merkel, Caldwell, and Ronnie Hurst are the top 4 right now.
Yeah, these drivers are putting on a show. One of the big reasons that we're able to provide a show like this for you here on Sim Racing Media is that different leagues that we cover are able to partner with a lot of great people and a lot of great companies that are able to pitch in to help offset cost when it comes to just running a league, putting up practice sessions, and then putting up race sessions. And one of the main sponsors that is helping out is they are actually the title sponsor for tonight's race here at Talladega is the Under Pressure pressure washing services. And you can see here on Maxwell Caldwell's ride, he's got the Under Pressure logo on his car, and we hand out an award each race, talking about a driver who might have experienced some bad luck. It's named after this company that is run actually by somebody who we learned about tonight, which is Chris Vanderplatz in the 10 machine. Take a look back here. He's driving Mayhem Racing today, but on that quarter panel, he's got Under Pressure pressure washing services right there. So if you are interested in contacting the title sponsor for tonight's race, we have their contact information somewhere, and maybe if Mike finds it before I will, we'll share it with you, or perhaps we'll share it with you later on in the race. But we did want you to know that
Zach, their number and logo is on the screen, so if you need anything, hit them up at their number. Looks like 726-228-6742. Chris Vanderplatz would be glad to help you guys out.
There you go, Mike. You always have my back, and these drivers are, I'm sure, very thankful for the support they get from Chris and other sponsors alike that help out so that these drivers can put on a great show.
Definitely, and definitely helps us be able to do what we like to do. I mean, I got into iRacing to race and found this fun little job called broadcasting, and it's been kind of a real blessing. Got to meet a lot of people and cool drivers from several different leagues, and this league is no exception as the lights are out on that pace car.
And up front, we see Bruno Latour in that 71 was able to slice and dice and make his way up to the front row. He's going to pick the inside line, and to his outside is Todd Merkel there, sporting that familiar 2 bright neon yellow machine, sporting, of course, the family business, Merkel Racing Engines. Look out for him and Maxwell Caldwell to team up here, as they are teammates. So it won't take long for that 2 and 94 to find one another again.
Yeah, definitely. And if I recall, the last time you were here were a couple of weeks ago, Todd
Yes.
Merkel did a heck of a pit strategy to still wind up inside that top 3. So we'll see if he can do a little better this week with you coming back.
Well, don't put that pressure on me. But I do not claim to be any driver's luck charm. But if I want to be on the side of anybody, I'd rather be on the guy that's leading right now, and that's Bruno Latour here in the 71. He's going to lead him off in a Ford, followed by Todd Merkel, also sporting that Mustang, and we are back underway here from Talladega. Great jump from Bruno Latour in that 71 machine.
Yeah, and little did you say that 2 and 94 were going to hook up. The 2 jumped down right in front of that 94, and they are going to be working together here. We'll see if they're going to let Bruno Latour stay there or if they're going to kind of set him up to, hang out to dry there. As they're 3 wide back behind them there. And just as I say that, Merkel goes to the outside.
Yes, and another person that works well with these two is, look at him, Justin Lewis in that 07. Didn't take long for him to make his way back up front, and now he's found friends to push. So the 2, 94 and 07, are looking to team up to take control of this race.
Yeah, and they're 3 wide back behind these guys. Almost 4 wide. Todd Merkel goes to the middle. Maxwell Caldwell, Justin Lewis take that outside line and are going to lead it here. Ronnie Hurst in third, and he gets turned by Todd Merkel in front of Bruno Latour, caught in it. The 12 of Taylor Robinson. Oh my gosh.
The 001 machine, I believe that's Alejandro back there.
The 51 Toyota's in there.
And it's Greg
Barrett
Birch.
Flows in there.
Again, another caution stemming from around the second place. We talked about at the top of the show, Mike, how you want to be up front because it's safe. Well, most of our wrecks tonight have happened from up front.
Well, that is true, but also, wow. You get this backed up a little ways here. So there you can see Todd Merkel down on the low side. He's working his way, just driving right on that yellow line. And it looks like Ronnie Hurst is going to try and get down.
Not clear.
And he gets turned sideways. All right, I've got to do something because somebody says I have to look here. So let's see here. Let's see what he has here. See what's going. This is on board with Chris Vanderplat's here.
Just talking about Chris earlier. Look at the chaos that's going to happen in front of him. There's Mike Peters. There's I believe that's the 041 of McMeekin.
Looks like it.
Ooh, does he get through? Oh my goodness, there's Barrett Flow.
Barrett Flow goes through. That is a heck of a view there, Chris. Oh my.
Chris Vanderplat's. Wow. Is there still more drama? I know he's a little sideways through here, but I think he's got it all sorted.
That looks like he's good. Wow. Okay.
You know what? Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, but I think that was a fair amount of both there.
Yeah, I mean, we were just sitting there talking about, how to be up front and, kind of stay clean. Well, I guess technically if you are the leader, you're okay. But it looks like that outside to inside move is just not a move you want to make tonight.
Yeah. It's been dicey. Some drivers have been crossing up lanes a little preemptively. And we've seen some contact because of it. We've seen some hard impacts from some of these drivers. And, we started at the top of the show with a full field, right? And we made a big deal about it. We talked about how, these drivers are all piling on in, trying to make a name for themselves, right? Well, who's up front? Well, the two-time champ. You have Justin Lewis, who's been on fire all year. Todd Merkel, who's riding a bit of a hot streak, but he's always really good at these plate tracks. Jonathan Casebeer's shown a lot of speed this year. A lot of the more experienced drivers, right, that we have come to know here from SCL Cup competition. So definitely the cream rises to the top here early on. They're the ones not getting involved in these incidences.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at Jonathan Casebeer last week. He had his fair share of trouble as like Justin Lewis is down on the apron there, but Jonathan Casebeer was the under pressure award winner there, that tough luck award. So we'll see if this week's any better, as he is up 22 positions from where he started.
Biggest mover so far.
Yeah, definitely is. Was able to stay out of trouble and move his way right to the top. As you were saying, you know, a full field. Well, we got 3 guys that elected not to start. Adam Lowe, Chris Melton, and Matt Metler, all not pulling the trigger here at Talladega, one of those special tracks that you have to be very lucky. And then we have like Todd Willis, Greg Birch, spending extended time on pit road, Ronnie Hurst as well. So we'll see how this shakes out here.
I know sometimes for some drivers, PC capability, right, comes into factor at tracks like this. It's a big track. It's a lot to render in. And if you get a full field like this, it can be tough on some PC users. So could be some stories there involving possibly involving some equipment failure, but that's something I guess we can speculate about from the booth. Todd Merkel's going to be given an EOL penalty, as well as Joshua Yarborough here. So Todd, of course, being I would have an opinion about that, but as a commentator, I probably shouldn't. So but Todd Merkel going to get sent to the back here, and Joshua Yarborough as well. Looks like we're going to get rolling here on lap 18.
They should get stacked up here as they are working their way towards lap 18 here.
So I'm wondering what these two teammates up front are going to do, right? Lewis and Caldwell, they work well together. Let's see if there's some gamesmanship between the two. Will Caldwell let the 07 in? Is there going to be a gap? If I'm driving that 69 machine of Raglan, I'm going to get right on the back bumper of that 94. Make sure that you don't let that 07 down in front of you.
Yeah, there's no way. I'd be all over that back bumper as you hit that restart zone, because that 07 is going to look to get down or try and get a good jump in. Caldwell gets a huge jump, but Justin Lewis didn't jump down right away. He's able to kind of slow down and get behind him, allows Casebeer to lead that outside lane.
Yeah, side by side, the battle is for third here, rolling now as the top lane looks to get organized to generate some momentum. Don't look now, but Casebeer is going to make a jump for the lead, and 05 Wonder Bread machine up front.
Yeah, that 05 machine had that jump. Looked like they kind of slowed down just enough on that bottom lane and allowed Casebeer to get out front, and now they are hooked up with Caldwell and Lewis. Flanagan trying to get that outside line to work as Justin Lewis kind of slides out in front, coming off of the turn 4 exit there.
Looks like Casebeer here is going to be left out to dry. Some of the veterans are getting hooked up together. Caldwell, Lewis, you have Flanagan, and there's Lilith Peters, who we haven't talked about at all tonight, but Lilith has found a lot of success here in Cup competition this season. So definitely earning some respect out of the drivers around her. Look at Michael Matta up there as well.
Yeah,
taking runs.
Yeah, Flanagan down to the inside. Lilith Peters stays with him. Justin Lewis is up on that high side trying to get down and do a little bit of that side drafting as Maxwell Caldwell jumps in front of Flanagan there.
Caldwell throwing a late block there. Very gracious from Flanagan to, be patient and let that run just dissipate as the 94 and 07 are side by side battling for the lead here. A big push here from Michael Matta in the 16.
And Michael Matta is all over that back bumper, giving him a huge push. And don't look now, Trevor Dalton up to third. 16 spots right now.
Trevor Dalton, where did he come from? We saw him wreck not too long ago. There's Steven Johnson, who started in the back of tonight's race. Chris Vanderplatz, who just avoided a crazy wreck not too long ago, finds himself inside the top 10.
Yeah, and don't look now, but look at Rebecca Leto here. She was involved in that wreck after a couple laps,
Yeah.
and she is on the way back towards the front as well. Was just inside the top 10 for a moment there, as Jonathan Casebear started towards the front and now is back to 11th.
Case Bear is probably wondering what in the world happened. I was up front, I was all by myself, got freight trained, and now I'm back here in the pack. So gonna have to be patient, generate some energy here on the bottom lane, and try to get by those 4 cars that are on the outside side draft.
And you have Steven Johnson leading that outside lane with Chris Vanderplatz right there as well. And it looks like they are hooked up pretty well. Lilith Peters fading back just a little bit as that outside lane gets a little bit of a run here.
Yeah, we're starting to see a couple packs form towards the end of this pack. We have Matthew McMeekin in the 18th position. I believe that's the end. That's the end of this front group. And then the second group is started by Cody Oliphant in the old Ryan Newman scheme. And there's Todd Merkel.
Yeah, Todd Merkel got sent to the back and is working his way towards the front. Fastest lap of the race is held by the 04 Ford of Klaus Williams here with the 49.53 in that outside lane. We've seen it work quite a few times at these plate tracks. You get the guy that's 4th or 5th in line there on that outside row, and they can run and get those high speeds that they are able to do here.
Yeah, absolutely. You feel like you're invincible, right? You're going so much quicker than the people in front of you, and then you finally catch up to the pack and everything just sort of stops. There's nowhere to go. You don't have help, and you have to be patient. Tell you what, this duo up front is really impressive. We knew that Justin Lewis was quick, but people better remember that Michael Matta in this 16 machine, he is a great pusher. Pushed that 07 all the way to the front, was able to clear the bottom lane, clear both of them, and get down to the inside. That's somebody you want to work with here towards the end of the race.
Yeah, definitely. You want to find the guys that can push. And he is definitely one of them, as he's still all over that 07, giving a huge push there, trying not to overdo it entering the corners, as Trevor Dalton's also trying not to run into the back end of Michael Matta there as well.
Of course, the conversation here at these kinds of racetracks is what kind of manufacturer you're driving. Chevrolets are notoriously hard to draft because of the pointed nose. This year, the newest update to these cars have featured the less aggressive nose on the Chevrolets, but they're still difficult. The Fords are, I would argue, the easiest ones to push, right? Because they have the flat nose on the front. But right now, we're seeing a couple Chevys making it work.
Yeah, we definitely are. And as we were looking back through the field, Chris Vanderplatz abandoned that outside lane behind Steven Johnson. He's down on the inside as Lilith Peters and Jeremy Flanagan jump up to the high side in front of Steven Johnson, and they're trying to make that outside line work, but it's just not really gaining much traction right at the moment, as they're still fighting for 5th back there.
As good as Peters has been this season, I've been watching that one machine on the outside, and it just looks very uneasy up there. I don't know if it's the lane choice that doesn't quite jive with the 101 well, or if you're just not naturally inclined to be the pusher. I know that there are some drivers who aren't very comfortable with being the one that's responsible for pushing. It kind of just looks like those two teammates are just uneasy with one another there on that top lane.
Yeah, that definitely tends to happen, especially when you talk about some drivers that are used to being out front and not pushing.
Ooh.
As it looks like Lilith Peters gets out of sorts there a little ways, but they're going to be coming up on a lap car here momentarily, so we'll see how that all shakes out as well. That inside lane is definitely going to be able to make its way around pretty quickly. It's that outside lane that you're going to have to worry about momentarily.
Yeah, absolutely. Navigating lap traffic, so important here. Look at that. That's a great move, pulling down to the inside. They're going to actually clear the 45 going into the corner. That's going to be the bigger story.
Ooh. Rebecca Leto gets out of the gas and down on the apron. Stays out of trouble. Is going to try and catch the back end of the field, and it looks like she just will here. Looks up with that lapped car of Daniel Saab.
Yeah, it just looks like just a product of catching a lap car at a bad time. No harm, no foul. Looks like they're going to be able to stay with this front group here. Meanwhile, back up front, we're taking a look at Matthew McMeekin. It's now side by side, and all the way back up front is we've got probably, I don't know, the first 10 or 11 cars here are now single file.
Yeah, they definitely got that worked out of their system here, as everybody's pretty much single file now. So we'll see how long they are able to ride this way. And as we said, that Lilith Peters got in front of Flanagan, so maybe they elected to swap positions here, and we'll see if Flanagan can push Peters towards the front in that outside row.
Yeah, we'll have to see. That 101 was very shaky being the pusher on the outside, but looks like right away the 872 was able to get a big push on the teammate of the 101.
Yeah, and the way it works with all these plate tracks, you need somebody that can hold that steering wheel as steady as can be. One little bump, one little, like a quarter of an inch changes everything when you're entering these corners.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're Zachary Archer there in that 38 machine, third car in the outside lane, you have to be patient. You just have to let the front two take care of business. You are responsible for controlling the line behind you. Let the front two do the heavy lifting, and you're going to have to just take the runs as they come and not run over the two drivers in front of you.
Yeah, definitely. You can kind of see how Flanagan is trying to, I'll say, manipulate a little bit where Lilith Peters drives, but it's not working too well at the moment because he's just trying to figure out the best way to give her a push, and it's just not working as well as they thought. They're still battling for, looks like, 5th position right at the moment.
Yeah, they really haven't been able to get past maybe the 4th car in line on the inside. You have to put into account, though, that the bottom line is being led by what I would argue so far has been one of the premier pushers in the field in Michael Matta. And as we say that, the top line gets a pretty big run here, and the bottom line's a little disjointed. This might be the chance that Peters and company have been looking for.
Yeah, you saw him kind of fan out a little bit there, get that little bit of that accordion effect working, and that slowed down that inside lane, but almost immediately after they get hooked back up, they're out to a couple car lengths once again. Lilith Peters still leading that outside lane.
It's really hard. You got to be aggressive on the outside lane if you want to make up a lot of time. Look at them getting bunched up here going into 3, but now's not the time to be aggressive on the outside and side draft and lean on the people on the inside. I mean, we're only at lap 30 of this 70 lap event, so I like how the outside line's running. It's not, they're obviously not making headway in terms of gathering the lead, but they're being responsible, right? They're not racing over their heads right now.
No, and you also have to think there's going to be a pit stop at some point in time, so just hang on, run your race, hang out there, try not to get involved in anything major. I mean, as long as you're kind of still hanging with these guys, you don't really have anything to worry about at the moment.
Yeah, and of course we have this first group, and we've been talking about them quite a bit, and they've been side by side for quite a while, and that top line's getting more and more disjointed, and the bottom line's fanning out. This second group behind this pack has really done a great job at just staying in the straight line and trying their hardest to sniff the front of the field. It's led by Cody Oliphant here in the 70.
Yeah, they're gaining time. It's not a lot, but they're gaining, hundredths of a second. But I mean, they're still working together. They're still at least, gaining a little bit of time, and they're kind of not sitting in a bad position because they can see when all the leaders elect to head down that pit lane. And if Michael Matta didn't have anything else to, win the race for, looks like Scott Matta is going to give him Talladega tickets if he wins.
Oh, hey, there you go. No pressure, but yes, the 16 machine has been doing very well tonight. So we'll have to see. And certainly a lot of race to go, but that 16 machine's been a fantastic pusher on the inside lane and the outside lane. We've seen a lot out of that 16 machine. And if I'm Justin Lewis, I'm going to make sure that I want to be in front of Michael here towards the end.
Yeah, definitely. You got to be on that radio being like, all right, when are you pitting? I want to pit right when you pit, because I don't want to leave. I don't want to be hung out to dry. I don't want you pushing somebody else.
Yes, we are buddies. We are not leaving. So you have found a new friend, and Justin Lewis certainly is putting on a strong show, but it's because that 16 machine knows when to push. Look how hard pushing through the tri-oval here, leaving a gap between the field. 2-car breakaway.
Yeah, that is a heck of a push that Justin Lewis is getting. Michael Matta was out to like 3/4 of a car length over Trevor Dalton there. And that outside line is just falling back more and more the way these guys are pushing as he's all over that back bumper. Let's go to the nose view here. You can just see how close Michael Matta gets. He kind of lets him go through the corner because, the corner is a no-go. You don't push in the corner.
Yeah, and it takes a wise iRacer to get that, right? Where you don't want to be too aggressive, don't push in the corner here, and then through the tri-oval, you can get away with a little bumper too, but it can get squirrely through here. There are bumps through here, so now you want to be a little aggressive going into turn 1 and then back off again and wait for the run down the backstretch.
Yeah, so you'll see how close he gets when he gets out of this turn 2 exit here, because he is going to get right on that back bumper. We saw it a couple times. Looks like he might have got a little bit loose, but he gathers that car back in, and you'll just see that Camaro logo disappear as he gets right on his back bumper.
Into his back bumper, but that's just the magic of iRacing. So certainly a great view there to illustrate just how aggressive Matta was. But something that was also of note is that he was square on the bumper, right? It wasn't offset to the one side, wasn't trying to do anything cute, just line it up and hit him square. And noticed a lot. That's what Matta's doing.
Definitely.
Steven Johnson to the high side.
Well, Steven Johnson was up on the high side, didn't really have any help, got down to the low line, worked his way up a little ways, and now he jumped in front of Lilith Peters. And Peters is going to try and maybe give him a push as that inside line starts to do that little bit of snake effect down there.
Look at Caldwell. He kind of drifted up and wanted to stall out the run of the outside lane. It's going to be interesting. Can Johnson lead this outside lane to the front? Looks good right now.
Yeah,
Look at this.
Looks like he's going to get that lap led, and he will.
What a run here by Steven Johnson to the outside. We just talked about how Lilith Peters was looking a little uncomfortable there, being the pusher on the outside, trying to push her teammate earlier. Might just be the fact that Steven Johnson can hold a steady wheel, lead the line maybe a little bit more, as these two are now getting hooked up.
Yeah, Lilith Peters trying to work on the back bumper of that 44 machine. of Steven Johnson. Looks like he jumped up just at the right time, and he's got pushed to the lead. Jeremy Flanagan is getting pretty close to... Oh, Trevor Dalton.
Zachary Archer saves it.
Everybody wrecking now.
No, I called it too soon. It looked like they were going to save it. Oh, Trevor Dalton's in it. Oh, Maxwell Caldwell, huge hit there as well. So this is contact originating between Zachary Archer and
here we go.
Yeah, and I believe Trevor Dalton here.
Yeah, Trevor Dalton and Zachary Archer there right in the middle of the screen. Trevor Dalton slides up. And it looks like everything's going to be pretty good. Trevor Dalton sliding all over the place trying to save it, but just barely clips the 64 machine. 53 gets hit.
McMeekin's in it. Yeah, 53 clips of 64. I'll tell you what, Chris Vanderplatz is getting a whole bunch of great views of a whole bunch of different wrecks today.
Yeah, let's see here. Vanderplatz now. Well, he's able to stay out of it pretty clean. Barely.
Yep. Wreck in front. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Wreck in front of him, wreck behind him, squeaking on through. This is going to put us in our pit window here. Lap 38 of 70, so you can make it here to the end. But Jeremy Flanagan is going to stay out. Did pit on lap 10, so definitely not enough to get you to the end here, Jeremy.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here, but yeah, I definitely wouldn't think it would be enough to get you to the end, but I mean, with the aggressive driving that we've seen, I don't know that it's necessarily a bad call at the moment. But you're going to wind up having to pit and get stuck back in the field since everybody else pitted and definitely can make it to the end here.
Yeah, we're just over the halfway point of tonight's event. We want to thank everybody for tuning in here on YouTube. We're very grateful to partner up with SCL multiple nights a week, and grateful to have your guys' support out there in the comments and rooting on your favorite drivers.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we got Cecil Hawks rooting for Flanagan, Scott Matta for the 16, Michael Matta. We got Regan Jones for Vanderplatz. Chris checking in as well. Nicole Hughes. Autumn Jones. I mean, I love how we have people talking in the chat here.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes we sit here and we go through and there's no chat, and it's like, man, come on, guys. I know you're watching. We see everybody on there. Tell us who you like.
Yeah.
Tell us anything. We'll talk about anything usually here on Sim Racing Media. You know, try and get some action going and get you guys involved. That's what we're here for. Thanks. John does work on YouTube. That we're the best broadcast on YouTube.
Oh, shucks. I'll tell you who that last caution, well, let's just say last decision hurt the most here as we are here under yellow, now getting lap 40 of the 70 lap event. What you just saw on the screen, Daniel Staub making his way down pit road. He's currently listed in the 32nd position, but he was driving right behind Jeremy Flanagan in that 872, and he missed out on an opportunity to get a lap back. We saw the 45 earlier kind of free fall through the field. We talked about how, the pack's going to catch him, and it caused a little bit of an incident, but the 45 was did well enough to go below the apron, right? if Flanagan pits, the 45 gets a wave around. He gets a free lap back because all the lead lap cars in front of him pits. But because Flanagan stays out, 45 still lap down.
Yeah, Jeremy Flanagan, I won't say screwed a lot of drivers, but that's basically what he did, because there's lots of drivers who hit pit lane, 14, maybe even a couple laps before that caution, thinking, oh, I'll pit real quick, get that wave around, and then he doesn't come to pit road, and that completely changes everybody's strategy, because they got to go to the back of the field and try and work their way back through everybody one more time.
Now they got to battle for a lucky dog, right? Because the rest of the field is pitted. They're not going to pit again. So we're definitely going to have to see if maybe there's a comeback story deep in the field here, and kind of see what's going on. Chris Vanderplatz is listed here all the way back here. He went a lap down in 33rd position. Wonder what happened to him.
I was trying to see if anything happened. It didn't look like he got caught in any of the incidents there, but he spent an extended time on pit lane there. Oh, it looks like he did crash. Take a look real quick. Yeah, I know we're going back. Well, it looks like he just maybe had a hardware issue there as he was gone for the moment. Jerry Flanagan takes that green flag, and he is out in front. Lilith Peters behind him. Justin Lewis as well. Looks like Steven Johnson is going to try and work that high side once again.
Teammates up front, 872, 101. And it looks like they're going to get split up here as Justin Lewis looking to take the momentum here on the low line.
Yeah, it looks like that 101 got a little bit out of line, and Justin Lewis said, I'll take that spot if you don't want it. But look who the 101's working with right now.
Yes, Michael Matta in the 16 machine. Let's see if they can get some momentum up there on that high line. It's going to take a couple laps, but we'll definitely see if the 16's got another great push in him. Now going to try to push Lilith Peters to the front. Justin Lewis, you can see that 07 kind of dancing. Is he going to be able to take the gap? Nope. He's going to stay down low here going into turn one.
Yeah, he's got to be looking towards that outside, and it looks like Lilith Peters is not holding that wheel as steady as Justin Lewis was, because Michael Matta is one heck of a pushing machine there. And if you look, they're going 3 wide with Michael Peters back there trying to make that work, with Jonathan Casebear getting stuck in the middle as he is fading through the field.
They call that the sucker hole, getting stuck in the middle, free falling back through the field, but not a lot of damage done, as you're going to lose maybe 4 or 5 positions here in a pack this big right now. So these drivers are going to battle it out, and back up front, Lilith Peters looking sporty, getting pushed by Michael Matta to the lead.
Whoa. Justin Lewis pushing Jeremy Flanagan, almost got out of sorts there. Had to check up, and Lewis jumps to the high side and says, I'm not going to get behind Flanagan no more.
Well, Lewis going up there to go get his teammate, Maxwell Caldwell, up on that high line. So makes sense to see those two work together. That bottom lane now starting to look a little sparse. Are we going to see a flip-flop in lanes here? Now we're going to the high line to make some time around Talladega.
Trevor Dalton and Jonathan Casebear down low all by themselves. Looks like Trevor Dalton trying to suck up in there, and he gets right in front of Mike Peters and is going to be right behind Justin Lewis. The outside lane is where they're going, and Michael Matta has now pushed a couple cars to the lead, and he is going to sit right there.
I'm really surprised that Peters has elected to keep this high line rolling. We've seen that 101 a little shaky up there on that higher lane. I kind of assumed that Lilith would feel a little more comfortable there on that bottom line. That's not the case right now, as you see Mike Peters now going to look to get something rolling here on the bottom lane.
I don't know why I don't know why you would stay up there, other than, that's kind of where you wound up, but even coming down the backstretch or even down the front straightaway, she stays up there, and that bottom line is going to make a move. And Maxwell Caldwell is going to be trying to take that lead here as Justin Lewis gets down there. Trevor Dalton, Mike Peters, all on that inside lane.
Meanwhile, further on back in the pack, they are getting a little squirrely back here. That's around the 2 machine of Todd Merkel. They're 3 wide back here. 12 machine we haven't picked up in quite a long time. Last time we saw that Nesquik machine, it was on pit road. Now back up front. We got a number of drivers in the fence there going into 3.
Looks like the 47 a little bit. Todd Merkel kind of stuck in the middle. Rebecca Leto out high. Still 3 wide. Jeremy Flanagan gets a little bit loose. But everybody's staying pretty good here as Todd Merkel is still stuck in the middle. And Rebecca Leto on that high line. They haven't really given up anything at the moment. And they're battling side by side here.
Man, if you're Jeremy Flanagan back here in this group, you're wondering to yourself, oh, how did I end up back here? I was just up front. I had a teammate, and now you're all the way back here around 20th, trying to survive. As you can see, that 8 machine pulling off to the inside line. That's Josh Hill, the boss man here of SCL and that Budweiser scheme, looking to take a breather now as they are really fighting for positions here up front.
They definitely are, and Michael Matta to the lead with Maxwell Caldwell giving him a push. Justin Lewis third on that inside lane. Lilith Peters battling back with Steven Johnson, giving her a push on that high side.
We have a few there it is. How did they save it? Did they? Yes, they did. Oh my goodness. Taylor Robinson, huge save there, and then further on back, trying to see who that was. Back behind Josh Hill. I think that was Lee Campbell. Yes, it was.
That looks like Lee Campbell there, yeah.
Wow, what a save.
Heck of a drive by those guys there. Michael Matta out front.
Must have heard that there were Talladega tickets on the line. He says, I don't want to push anymore. I want to lead. Getting pushed by Maxwell Caldwell, Justin Lewis, Trevor Dalton there on the inside. All 3 of those drivers have had a long history of working with one another. So definitely that inside lane's got a lot of experience, but that top lane being led by Lilith Peters, but Steven Johnson's responsible for pushing it. We'll see how far they go.
Yeah, they're trying to get a little bit of a run there on that high side. Just not quite. The bottom line keeps winding up, checking up just a little bit. Looks like they get a pretty big run, and then just behind Mike Peters, I think they have to check up a little bit with Todd Merkel and like Kendall Kraft maybe down there on that inside lane.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 by 2 as far as the eye can see. We're coming to get lap 49 of this 70-lap event here tonight. We want to thank you for tuning in here for SCL Winston Cup Series action here from Talladega as they are still jockeying. Look at them fan out here going into turn 1.
After all the talk we did about Lilith Peters not looking very comfortable in that high line, she is making that high line work. She's been pushed by Michael Matta and now by Steven Johnson, and she is out to a lead. And Michael Matta is back on the inside, looking probably 3rd position at the moment. We'll see if he's going to be able to get that car righted momentarily with Maxwell Caldwell giving him a push.
I'll tell you what, we haven't talked a lot about Craig Forsythe unless if he's been involved in an accident, but now it's worth mentioning that 53 machine has made his way up. 3rd car on the outside lane getting pushed by the 39 of Derek Wegman as well. 2 drivers who've had a lot of bad luck here early on now find themselves inside the top 10.
I was just looking. I didn't realize that Steven Johnson had that bad of a start but that bad of a qualifying effort. He's up 26 positions.
Yes. Deep in the field. Johnson started tonight just methodically working his way through the field. I think Maxwell Caldwell, he's peeking out every now and again. I don't know if that 94 machine might be overheating for how much he's been pushing the 16. Wow, what a save there from the leader. They're not done yet.
Whoa. Sliding all over that rear bumper is Maxwell Caldwell of Michael Matta. Matta jumps up to the high side, tries to save the car, and he will, but that costs a little bit of time and a little bit of position, as he is now behind Steven Johnson and Lilith Peters back in third. Maxwell Caldwell, Justin Lewis were working together on that inside lane. We'll see if they hook back up and get that inside line coming as Steven Johnson jumps down to the inside lane with Lilith Peters.
Matta says, I don't want Caldwell pushing me. He was all kinds of side 94 on his bumper. Says, I would rather go back here and play defense for a little while. So now we have a battle for the lead raging on between Lilith Peters, now trying to defend Johnson and Caldwell.
Justin Lewis slides up. Maxwell Caldwell was trying to get up and spins Steven Johnson.
Steven Johnson! How big is this incident? Steven Johnson from second place.
How many
times?
I think you've said that. Second place. I think you've said that before.
I was just about to say, Mike, I was like, how many times have we said a wreck from second place tonight? It feels like it's been a cursed position. Let's see what happens. Who moves?
So here we go.
A little bit of net code.
I call it net code. The 94 drifts up, tries to side draft because he was getting left in that sucker hole in the middle, and just spins the 44 around.
Great save, though, by Johnson to kind of, I mean, he's still driving that thing down there, so able to look at those wheels stop and go and stop and go.
Yeah, it just gets a little bit of that net code, spins down in front of the 94. But he's able to get it saved, so. See anybody else get involved in anything? Doesn't look like it. Still saving it as he goes through the restart zone there.
Yep, everything looks good. I think there was, at least judging by the chat here, there was some, I don't know, they were trying to catch the field, and maybe we had some people run over other people here. It's maybe another conversation for another day. I believe Chris Vanderplatz. Oh, here we are. He's the A72.
They were heading to pit lane. I don't know. Trying to see if there's anything going on, but doesn't look like it. We're 18 laps to go.
Chris Vanderplatz, I think, gets the lucky dog. I could be wrong, but I mean, I've been wrong before, so.
Oh, looks like Ronnie Hurst might.
Oh,
because he is going to town on the throttle here.
Well, we've certainly enjoyed our time here at Talladega today. It's been a great race so far, but got a long way to go. I know it says 18 laps to go up there, but a lot can happen between now and the end of this one.
Oh, it definitely will. It's Jeremy Flanagan. Talked about him last caution. He didn't elect to pit. He pitted now, and now he is I'm gonna say mired back in 27th position at the moment.
Well, we talked about him right before that wreck. Flanagan was towards the end of that first pack anyway, lost contact with his drafting partner Lilith Peters, and then kind of free fell through the field. So, you know, back there anyway, you're gonna need to take gas. It's a bit of a wash strategy at this point, just because of how far back he was already mired back in traffic. I'm waiting to see if RC's going to deem this a racing incident, or if there's going to be a fault on a driver. Because if there is, you know, it would be be either one, the 44 or 94 machines. And of course, with the 94 being in second, that'd be something big to talk about. But as of right now, it doesn't look like anything's coming down. Of course, with netcode, you can't really control that as a driver. So just kind of at the will of the server.
Yep, looks like it is all clear. Racing incident or, you know, iRacing incident.
Yep. Looks like we're gonna get rolling here. The lights are off on the pace car, so when we go green, it's gonna be 16 to go. And I think now, Mike, your friends are where you find them.
Oh, definitely.
Although I should point out that 07 and 16 have found each other again.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. If I'm Justin Lewis, I'm looking in my rear view mirror. I'm like, oh, thank goodness, I got that guy who was pushing me to the lead. I'm good. I'm in the place I want to be. At least I know somebody's behind me that pushed me really well. That looks like that's where he wants to be.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll see how fast Lilith Peters gets shuffled out if the 07 and 16 decide to make a jump either to the middle or the low lane.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see. We have a few veterans there on that top lane: Caldwell, Dalton, and
Peters.
Also, you have Mike Peters back there, as well. So definitely some heavy hitters there on the outside lane. Pace car looking to come off now. As mentioned earlier, it's not on the stand, it's on the control cars. So they're going to line up and get into this Geico restart zone. And it'll be on Peters to see where the jump is going to be. Going to get the green flag here with 16 laps to go here from Talladega. Who will come out on top? Right now, it's Lilith Peters leading the hungry pack away here from Talladega.
Yeah, Lilith Peters down to that inside lane, and she is going to at least stay in front for the moment, as Justin Lewis is all over that back bumper.
That might be a plan. That 07 and 94 work together, and there it is. There it is. Jumped up to go get his teammate. Justin Lewis now to the high side.
Well, I don't know that that would be too bad of an idea to jump up in front of your teammate. I mean, Michael Matta has been pushing really well, but Lilith Peters is somewhere she hasn't been before. She's been running that high line for most of the race, and now she's down on that low line with one of the better pushers in Michael Matta. Michael Matta trying to kind of suck up next to that outside lane to get a little bit of a draft going. Lilith Peters comes up, and they're wrecking behind him, and everybody is going sideways here.
Jeremy Flanagan is in it. Justin Horton as well. Oh, Chris Vanderplatz is in position to get the lucky dog. Will not be able to get it here.
Yeah, Chris Vanderplatz in that 10 machine. Looks like he was trying to figure out where to go as Daniel Staub looks like he was trying to come up to the high side, and just Vanderplatz tried to go low. At the same time, Staub decided to try to do the exact same thing. Justin Horton gets sideways. Jeremy Flanagan gets caught in it after being stuck back in the field a little ways. So that is going to shake it up just a bit, man.
Yeah, and that's that strategy we talked about, right? Flanagan's strategy of not pitting at the halfway point, pitted at lap 10, but elected to stay out when the rest of the field went down pit road, then had to go back down pit road again to go and get gas. Found himself deep in the field. So although most of the wrecks have happened from second, not all of them do. So you're back in the pack like that, you can definitely get wrecked.
Definitely wind up in a place you don't want to be.
So, teammates back up front again. Lewis and Caldwell and Dalton, for that matter. They all work together. So, we'll have to see. And I've been calling them teammates this whole race, and now I'm going to click on their chat here. I'm going to be very upset if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Caldwell, Lewis, Peters. Okay, yeah. Merkel and Dalton. Okay, yeah. I was right. I've done SCL long enough. I should know. Got me second guessing everything up here. And you know what, Mike? I think we have an award we need to give out, and we just talked about him getting mired back in traffic because of strategy. If I'm so bold, I think I would say a front runner for that award would be Flanagan.
I would say it's either Flanagan, because he kind of got stuck back there after he got kind of mired back in there a little ways. Or you get Steven Johnson that basically, I'll say, gets screwed by net code. So it's like, I mean, either one of them.
Yeah, I'll defer to you. I think net code is awful. Obviously, if you've ever been on the service before, you've probably been bitten by net code at one point in your driving career here on iRacing, and it's never fun because it's nobody's fault. And I think you're right. I think Steven Johnson gets burnt here. We'll have to see in the last 12 laps of this thing, last 13 laps of this thing, if Johnson can make up all those spots. He's currently sitting in the 24th position. He is on the lead lap, though, so he's got that going for him.
Yeah,
but
I think you're probably right, Zach. I think the under pressure power washing services tough luck award should probably go to Jeremy Flanagan. He elected to pit a little later, trying to make a move, and then gets hammered there. So he's going to spend an extra couple minutes on pit lane. So I'm going to say we're going to give the under pressure power washing services tough luck award to Jeremy Flanagan there.
Oh shucks. Well, you didn't have to do it just for me, Mike. But
I think you're right. He was making the right calls, and then just winds up in the wrong position there.
Well, wow, Chris Vanderplat's. Okay, Chris Vanderplat's was given an EOL for that caution. Yeah, just like before. Driver Zach would have an opinion on that, but commentator Zach doesn't. So, we're gonna get going here with. Looks like we're gonna set sail with 11 laps to go. I could be wrong. Been wrong before. We'll probably be wrong again before this thing's all over.
Yeah, the ticker does say 12 laps, so we should be getting 11 to go. And it looks like Flanagan might be the last car on the lead lap, and he will be full throttle and hopefully gets there before the field sets off, as he pitted and is trying to make it back to the tail end of the pack here.
Big story up front. We haven't talked about Mark Brown nearly all evening. We've talked a little bit about Matthew McMeekin sitting there in the 041, but that big lemon machine, that 73, have not really mentioned him all night long, and here he is, looking to get a good finish.
Yeah, looking to get there. We'll see what happens. See if they can make it.
I love that paint. That's so.
There's been a few that you've said that to tonight. Kind of.
Yeah.
Let's see. I believe. See if I can get this one here.
Yes.
The Napa
Ollie
one?
Martin. Yes. racing a better looking Napa scheme than Chase Elliott in real life. So, kudos to you. as we are gonna get the flag here with 11 laps to go here from Talladega. Thank you for tuning in for SRM coverage of the SCL International Cup Series. We are underway back here at Talladega. 11 laps to go. It'll be teammates Lewis and Caldwell duking it out. Who's going to come out on top? Look at the 30 right on the back bumper. The 07 not going to give Caldwell the space to jump in line.
Yeah, definitely. Caldwell has to get behind Dalton there. Looks like he did for a little bit and then jump back out. But everybody's 3 and 4 wide, going back just a little ways in the field.
Taking a look. There's Matta diving to the inside. Can Matta lead a charge?
Michael Matta going to try and slide down in front of Matthew Meekin, it looks like there. Rebecca Leto down there on that inside as well.
Got some 3 wide racing back here. This is a battle out around the 10th position. Brown, Merkel back here. Got Barrett Flo, who we talked about nearly on the first racing incident, and haven't seen anything out of Barrett this entire race. He's squeaking his way back into the mix of things.
Look at them 3 wide back here. Merkel, and then you go back a little bit further. You got Case Bear. Kendall Craft. 3 wide, and they're making it work for a little bit here.
Gotta be careful back here. You gotta mind your business back here. As Steven Johnson right in the middle of it all.
Steven Johnson trying to figure out what he's doing back here, as he is stuck in the middle. And it looks like he got the 70 car of Cody Oliphant trying to get a drive going too.
I think the 041 went down pit road.
He did.
Yes, got shoved down there, I believe. Back up front, taking a look. Look who's to the inside lane. Todd Merkel in the 2 machine was up front for a little while, now getting pushed by Michael Matta.
Todd Merkel, Michael Matta trying to make that inside line work. Lilith Peters back in 3rd down low. And you also have Gary Ragland, who started on the front row, 4th in that inside lane. But they will have to deal with Justin Lewis, Trevor Dalton, Maxwell Caldwell, and Mike Peters in that high lane.
Yeah, those front 4, they do work together, but they also race for Todd Merkel in that 2 machine. That's his team. So we're going to have to see how they sorted out with the boss man to the inside lane. We got 3 wide racing back here. Peters and Barrett Flo back here as well. It's getting spicy up front.
It definitely
There's
is.
the yellow.
Cody Oliphant.
Oh.
Let's see. Oli Marson.
Oh. Not the Napa car.
Yeah, the Napa car.
Oh, Zachary Archer hard into the outside fence.
Yeah, Zachary Archer was in there, but let's go back a little ways here.
Ooh, maybe a bad push? No, just a...
Oh, it looks like he just gets... He gets a run, goes down to the inside. The 12 comes off the wall, taps him, sends him down into the... Oh, not quite into the 47. He tries to stay off, and the 12 hits him again.
Look at the hit from the 38 here.
38... 70 nose to nose.
Ooh, airborne.
12.
39's in it.
Oh, looks like Netcode might have saved that one. Chris Vanderplatz get by again. Jeremy Flanagan.
Klaus Williams.
Keep getting by.
Yeah. So a number of drivers who we've mentioned as heavy hitters involved in this one. Ooh, everybody's got to take a breath here with a handful of laps to go.
Yeah, we definitely need to catch a breath here. We got 7 laps to go. We're probably going to be 5 to go when we come back to green. But these guys are definitely putting it all on the track here.
Are we currently live? Just wanna ask from a production standpoint here.
Should be.
Okay. Yeah, my my timing and scoring was off by like 100 feet, and
Should be live.
I was like, this looks like it's live, but it's not scoring like it's live, and I don't think I've ever been that close to being live without it before. But sure enough, taking a look here. Goodness gracious, taking a look here through your top 10. There's a few drivers that we should mention here with 6 laps to go that are having great runs tonight. Talked about Mike Peters earlier, but N95's kept it pretty clean all night long. Great run for him. Barrett Flo's sitting in 8th. Barrett, I've been watching him on our timing and scoring, basically been hanging out in the mid to late 20s all night long in the back of the field, just watching the world go by. Towards the end of this thing, finding himself up front. Shout out to the boss man, Josh Charrett Hill. Good run for him right now. He's 14th. Anything can happen here with a few laps to go, but a good run for him tonight. Shout out to Craig Forsythe as well. He's sitting in 9th, but that car is beat up at 53 machine. Mark Brown here as well. We mentioned him earlier in the 73. Alejandro, our buddy, sitting there right in front of the 73 machine. Maybe we'll pull hard for Alejandro here to get a podium finish, so we can ask him officially what we need to be addressing him as here on the broadcast. But great run for that 001 machine.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely making his way through the field a little ways. I mean, just kind of looking through the field. I mean, nothing too terrible at the moment. Had a few guys not start. Had a few guys have a couple incidents. Looks like Todd Willis is on pit road still. He's been on there for a long time. Bruno Latour was up front. Now he is retired after 36, almost 37 laps. Daniel Staub as well. Tyler Robinson, Klaus Williams, Zachary Archer. And then we have Ollie Marston, Matthew McMeekin, and Greg Burst.
A lot of great stories here through the field. We're going to get the green flag here. I think with 4 laps to go here. Oh man, what, you thought the racing was intense. Just wait. And now the roles are flipped, right? We saw the 30 get really close to the 07 on the restart, not letting the 94 to drop down in line. The roles might be changed because Lewis is the control car. Might see Caldwell not cut his buddy a break there on the outside, but Todd Merkel there as well. All 4 of those drivers are in a chat together, so realistically, they all could launch at the same time.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a tight race, but if I'm Justin Lewis, I'm feeling pretty good leading this inside lane, especially with Maxwell Caldwell and Michael Matta behind me. I mean,
yeah. We did see Caldwell try to push Matta earlier in the race, and Matta wasn't too thrilled with it. So don't quite know how Maxwell is in terms of being a pusher. I know Todd Merkel's got that advantage driving a Ford there on the outside, that flat front bumper. So that might come into play here.
Now pace car is going to head in, and we will get 4 laps to go. And we thought the racing was hot and heavy earlier. With 4 laps to go, you're going to see 3 wide probably pretty quick here, trying to make up as many positions as they can. Justin Lewis has the button. Teammate Maxwell Caldwell behind him. Trevor Dalton to his outside. And we are green. Maxwell Caldwell all over that back bumper. Trevor Dalton trying to slide down in behind. Caldwell, but he gets a good run with Todd Merkel giving him a push.
Merkel dives down to the inside lane. It'll be the 30 out to try here on the outside. The 0792 have now hooked up together. Will the outside lane get a charge? No, they're all going to jump up there.
Well, you said it earlier. They're all kind of in the same chat. The 30 of Dalton down to the inside, going to try and make as much ground as he can. Jumps in front of Mike Peters and Lilith Peters as well. See if they can get that inside line going.
The script was flipped. The 30 got hung out to dry and then wanted to make a move to the inside, but there's no help to the inside lane right now. Going through the tri-oval, it's the top line with all the momentum. Lewis, Maxwell, Merkel, Matta, and Flo, your top 5, and there's a yellow out. We're going to be looking to fix up for a green-white checkered.
We definitely are. And like I said, we thought the racing was hot and heavy before. If we can go back and take a look and see what kind of happened here. So the 70 into the 47 turned sideways.
Look who they wreck right in front of.
Chris Vanderplatz.
Chris Vanderplatz in that 10 machine.
Man, he has got to find a new place to be.
It's really funny in the I've been watching quite a bit of real life truck series racing this season, and the truck series actually decided we want to put an onboard camera on Daniel Dye's number 43 truck, and that's because Daniel has a very good knack of being right in the middle of wrecks, just like Chris Vanderplatz has been tonight, just barely missing it. He's getting all the good shots for us tonight.
He definitely definitely is in the I don't know if it's the right position, but but yeah, we will definitely get set for that green white checker here. So it'll be Justin Lewis and Maxwell Caldwell on that front row, and Michael Matta and Todd Merkel in row 2.
Yes, and this will be our one and only attempt at a green-white checkered. So if you are new to perhaps NASCAR racing discipline, we're going to explain that here for you here on Sim Racing Media. Because SCL has one attempt at a green-white checkered, it simply means this. They're going to get the green flag, and what happens between there and the next lap is really important. So they will try to get the white flag and will try to make it another lap around post white flag to finish the race under racing conditions. However, because SCL races one attempt at a green white checkered, if there's a yellow flag that comes out at any point during this attempt, the race will be over at the time of caution. So as much as we up here in the booth want to see a race to the finish, they got to play nice for 2 laps. So we'll have to see if that happens.
Yeah, definitely. With SCL being one of the leagues we broadcast that only has one green white checker, they definitely want to get that finish the race under the green flag condition. So we'll see what happens here. And as I said, it's going to be teammates on that front row, Justin Lewis and Maxwell Caldwell. So we'll see how that affects the race. And don't look now, but Barrett Flo is going to be in row 3.
Yeah, Barrett Flo always has a knack of just kind of letting the race come to him. I'm a bit of an old soul when it comes to rooting for racing, and I like drivers with etiquette. I like drivers with good head on their shoulders. I was a huge Mark Martin fan in real life. Barrett Flo sort of races like Mark. He very rarely moves people out of the way. He's very patient, lets the race come to him. I just, as a lover of racecraft, I enjoy how Barrett races races. So it's always a treat to see how that 92 machine kind of lets the race come to him. He's done it again here at a very difficult track.
Yeah, I remember when I first jumped in to call one of these races, and you told me, yeah, Barrett didn't get a good qualifying run, but he'll be there at the end. And here he is, showing up, 3 laps to go. See if he can get that, get a good push and maybe make some noise at the end of this race.
Tell you what, a newcomer, at least a newcomer in terms of consistency here in SCL competition, talked about those drivers just hopping in, hoping to steal a win. That driver right behind Barrett Flo, Gary Ragland, he started tonight on the front row, and then we never talked about him again, did we, Mike? He just kind of went away, and now towards the end, here he is, maybe with a shot to win.
Yeah, it's kind of the way that racing works here at Talladega, or even like a Daytona. You know, you have that good qualifying run, and then all of a sudden you don't get the push you need, or you know, you're not very comfortable with the drivers around you, so you kind of fade back towards the end of the field, and then towards the end of the race, if you stay out of trouble, you find yourself up here and have yourself a chance to win the race here.
So going through some of the stories here through your top five, Justin Lewis, who's been very strong all race long, has shown race-winning speed week in and week out. He's going to go toe-to-toe with the two-time defending champion of Maxwell Caldwell to his outside. Then behind them, we have arguably the best pusher in the field, Michael Matta, racing for whether it is true or not, we have not investigated, but Talladega tickets are on the line here for Michael Matta, at least according to our YouTube chat sources. The man who seemingly gets caught up in everybody else's bad luck had a great race last time I was up here in the booth. Todd Merkel finds himself looking for his first win here in the inside lane, second car in the inside lane. We talked about Barrett Flo. We talked about Gary Ragland, Trevor Dalton, who's been involved in a multitude of incidences tonight, and then Alejandro back there in the 8th position. Talked about his yo-yo day. There's a lot of great stories all throughout the top 10.
Definitely Jonathan Casebeer up 17, Mike Peters up 4. Bossman up 26. So definitely lots to look forward to as this race gets it ready to wrap up here. Hopefully under green flag conditions. Pace car should be making that left-hand turn.
Oh, man, I'm so nervous. I'm nervous for them. I want it to end under green so bad. 2 by 2 teammates are going to lead the field, Justin Lewis and Maxwell Caldwell, and it'll be Lewis on the button. Will he get a good push from team owner Todd Merkel? We'll see, as we are back under green for our first green-white checkered attempt here from Talladega.
Todd Merkel all over that back bumper of Justin Lewis, gives him a good shove out front. We'll see if Maxwell Caldwell's going to try and make that high line work or duck in behind. He ducks in behind, as does Barrett Flo.
Teammates 1, 2, 3 here through turn 1 and 2 as drivers are now starting to build up momentum. Take a look back here. Flo gets juked out by Michael Matta. He's outside all alone. He's going to get help from Ragland down the backstretch.
Yeah, Ragland had a heck of a run there working. Trevor Dalton down to the inside middle lane there as they get boxed up a little bit. Casebear in there as well. But Justin Lewis out to the front and Todd Merkel right behind him.
They are racing to get the white flag here at Talladega. Justin Lewis, Todd Merkel, and Max Caldwell, as well as the rest of the field, back through the tri-oval. We will officially get the white flag. Will they bring it all home? Ooh, no! Josh Hill hard into the outside fence.
Wrecking behind him.
Green. Still green as it's the final lap. No iRacing caution yet. They're going to race back to the end.
Rebecca Leto got a huge run on that outside lane and gets turned into that outside wall. And that is going to end the race momentarily here.
Still wrecking behind them. This is post-finish. It'll be Justin Lewis, I believe, getting the win. The race is already official. We have to see on timing and scoring. But I believe this is Justin Lewis's race, followed by Maxwell Caldwell and Tom. Barrett Flo will finish 4th, and Mike Peters will cross the line 5th. This race was called coming down the backstretch after multiple incidences on the last lap.
Yeah, it definitely
Well,
looked like they got that caution thrown. Let's see.
They almost made it back. They almost.
Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, everybody was wrecking. Oh my.
Yeah, there was a few incidences that happened. Josh Cherritt Hill was involved right when they got the white. This is an incident involving Trevor Dalton, Stephen Johnson, Lilith Peters also in it.
Yeah, let's go back.
Take a look here. 4 wide.
So the
It's gonna
30 Trevor
originate.
Dalton case bearer.
It's like you can go 4 wide there, but it's really hard to do so. It was so odd that this wasn't.
Yeah, look who's
You know,
behind him
this-
again.
Look at Chris Vanderplatz. He's going to get into the 8 car there, and that'll send him hard into the outside fence. But Joshua Yarbrough, haven't talked about him since the start. I haven't even seen him since the start of the race. There he goes driving on by. But yeah, this was not the incident that caused the end of the race. Rather, it was this one, I believe. Yes, down the backstretch involving
See what
Rebecca
happened
Leto.
here.
Getting a huge push here.
They're getting a push, trying to turn.
I mean,
He had a huge run coming. Looks like Alejandro just goes to her outside, clips that bumper,
Yeah.
sends her into that outside wall.
bad push,
Yep.
not square.
72,
And then-
Barrett Flo.
Flanagan getting into it. Did Flo make it out of there? I think. Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he
he did,
finished
just barely.
He finished 4th.
But man, that was some rough racing there at the end. But Justin Lewis burning it down here at Talladega.
Well, what do you say, Mike? We'll go 3, 2, 1 tonight.
Yeah, we can do that.
So, I believe I'll bring him in. Todd Merkel finishes P3 tonight. Hey, Todd, you're with Mike and Zach up in the booth.
Good evening, Mike. Good evening, Zach. How are you?
Well, I'm doing well, and Mike said it at the midpoint of this contest. He said, "You know what, Zach? Last time you were in the booth, Todd had a really good race. He finished on the podium. You left for a week, and now you're back. So maybe I'm the reason why you keep getting podiums when I'm here in the booth. I'll take it. Good to see you up here. Strong run here at Talladega. Talk to the viewers about your night tonight."
Well, I qualified pretty decent. I was fairly well up front and was running good in the beginning. And then they tagged me for a, I guess, questionable move, moving up a lane. I caught an EOL early in the race, but I didn't damage the car at all, and I was able to fight my way back up to the front, and it went well at the end there.
As team owner of a number of very successful drivers here in SCL competition, it's got to just tickle you pink to see all your friends up front towards the end of this thing. How did you manage to work so well together with all of your teammates during the end of this thing? It's normally so hard to find friends, but you guys seem to do it very well.
Well, we did a pretty decent job of, just kind of keeping it lined up and not letting anybody else shove their nose in there. Of course, I let Maxwell get a nose under me on that last lap, and he snuck by me, but that's okay. It's got my name on the car, too.
Well, you certainly muscled a third place finish tonight. Your night certainly had a fair amount of adversity, but I want to leave you with the opportunity for thank you sponsors and shout outs.
Well, of course, as always, on the rare occasion that I get to speak to you guys, I want to thank my engine shop, Miracle Racing Engines on Long Island, New York, Driven Oil, Liberty's Gears, and Ross Racing Pistons helped me on the real race car, so I like to run their decals on this as well.
Well, Todd, you were able to get a third place finish here tonight. As you said, your champ took P2 away from you, but congrats on third tonight. You really earned it out there. Go and enjoy it.
I appreciate it. Thanks, and we'll hopefully talk to you again soon.
Yeah, Mike, I'll own the being a good luck charm for him. I mean, I can take that.
Definitely, he had a heck of a run there. So
yes, he did. I'm going to bring up the two-time champ, Maxwell Caldwell. It's Zach Woods and Mike up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Mike, I'm going to leave you with him.
hey man, that was a heck of a run. Looked like you were trying to find the right teammate to push or be pushed. How was it racing out there, man?
It wasn't too bad tonight. The car had a lot of speed, and the team, we just tried to stay together most of the night. Got swept up in an accident early on. Had to use my fast repair about the halfway mark, and I was real nervous about that because you know how these races are. You get to the last half, and you just don't know what stupidity you're going to find yourself in. But ended up being okay, got to the front. Had a lot of us in the top 5 at one point, like top 5 cars were all working together. And some of these cautions just came at inopportune times. And that last one, I heard them say they were wrecking, and I tried to make the move on Justin before the yellow, and I was just a little too late on it. I think the leader on that 2 to go restart was going to be your winner. So Todd moved up. I told him, I said, man, you just learned a valuable lesson tonight. You cannot leave a lane. So had to do what I had to do for my sponsors, but Todd being one of them, but I have another one on the car now, so had to do what I had to do, but got P2, and I said I wanted to leave here with the top 3 because I've had to miss a couple weeks here and there for the summer, but it felt good to come to a plate race and not have to use it as a drop week.
Yeah, definitely. It was some good hard racing out there. Like you said, you gotta get in the right position to make those passes towards the end of the race because you never know what's going to happen at the end. But congrats on your P2 finish. Anybody else you want to thank before we let you out of here?
Yeah, first and foremost, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, man. He's blessed me so much with the ability to be able to come and run with these guys each and every week, and it's such a blessing to be on track with them. It's a lot of fun. I know it can get crazy at times when we can all get frustrated, but, man, at the end of the day, I look forward to Monday nights each week. It kind of is just a fun little thing to get to do, and blessed to get to make the friendships I've got here. Also want to thank my sponsors, Under Pressure Power Washing Services. This is the first time since he sponsored me I've actually finished top 3 to be able to give him a shout out. So Chris Vanderplatz runs that company. I thought I heard in the broadcast he might have even sponsored this race. If so, that's pretty cool to get him a P2 here. But yeah, they do all kinds of services for power washing. So any kind of needs you have there, give him a call at 726-228-6742. And I'm sure he'll get you fixed right up. And then Merkle Racing Engine still on the car as well. Got to thank them for their continued support. Todd does a great job with his company there up north, and just glad to represent 2 really good friends here in the league. So just trying to give them all the shout outs I can, and also thankful for my teammates, man. We worked, I'm not going to say flawlessly. There were times we questioned some moves that got made, but all in all, we were able to work as a unit there at the end and get a lot of us a good points day. Lilith's been dominating the races I haven't been in. I've noticed she's just been flat out outrunning everybody. So to see her, I hate to say it, but to see her have a little bad luck and some of these other guys get up front here was really nice. So thankful for the teammates for all working together to try to get that points gap shrunk up a little bit. And then finally thankful for you guys in the booth, man. Y'all put on an awesome race that we get to go back and watch. And I hope we gave y'all plenty to talk about here tonight because it did feel pretty action-packed most of the night.
Definitely did. Well, congrats again on your P2 finish, and maybe we'll talk to you again next week.
10-4. Maybe it's one spot better. We'll see. Thank you, guys.
Yep, later.
Well, that was Maxwell Caldwell, your place finisher. And I'm bringing up here in the booth, here in the SRM Victory Lane, your winner tonight here from Talladega, Justin Lewis. Justin, it's Mike and Zach up in the booth.
What's up, guys?
I'm going to leave you to it, Mike.
Oh, definitely, man. Hey, Justin, a little frustration after last week, but you wind up this week in Victory Lane. How does that feel, man?
A lot better than last week. Like I said last week, it was a bad deal, and then I pretty much come into any plate race as like I'm probably going to end up on my lid at some point, so why not try to, go for it, and usually try to stay up front. And to be honest, everything kind of played out perfectly. Like early in the race, I got shuffled out of line, and then the next lap, I was toward the back of the field, and the whole field just wadded it up. I went like 30th to 6th. So I was like, well, that couldn't have been a better time to get shuffled out of the field. So and thank God no one, did the old ARCA brake special on me. Like that's what happened at Daytona in the beginning of the year. I mean, so we're getting a lot better. Honestly, the racing was fairly decent other than the last lap. I was looking in the mirror like from the green flag. I don't think I looked out the windshield more than I did the mirror at all. So to win at Talladega is rare for me. Like I've said previously that I usually suck at any plate race ever. And to finally get a win at Talladega in a league, which has been the one thing that's like not happened for me besides winning a road course race in a league, that was pretty special. So I just want to thank the team. I mean, we kicked some ass tonight, really. I mean, that was the first time, and I think maybe the bad omen was Austin Call, who's probably listening. I just wanted to give him some crap real quick, but he didn't show up, and by God, we put the whole team almost in the top. Well, we put the whole team in the top 3, and then we had Mike Peters and Trevor Dalton with us tonight too. So at one point we were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the side note for me, Michael Matta was basically my home away from home. When I didn't have my teammates, he was there. So he helped a lot too. But yeah, that was fun. I usually get put in the back of these things and have the car to get back to the front, or the skill level to find my way back to the front, and I usually get wrecked out. So again, it was pretty wild. I can't believe I actually pulled that one off, especially with knowing how Max can be on these last lap deals on a plate racetrack. I was waiting for the move, and luckily I got him and Todd to be side by side so they could side draft each other. So I think that really secured it, and I was terrified. I was trying to keep a half a car length gap on me and the mirror to where they couldn't build that run, and if they did, I could at least throw a block and wreck at least myself. You know what I mean? Because like I said,
Yep.
this one was pretty special.
Yeah, it definitely looked like it. We were talking, well, Zach and I were talking early in the race. It looked like you got shuffled back at just the right time, because you wound up basically not really losing too many spots at all. Worked your way back towards the front pretty quickly and found yourself with Michael Matta there, and were able to come out on top after, a little bit of a frustrating week last week, but heck of a run by you.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, like I said, it was basically right place at the right time, and for once in my life, when a big wreck happens to me like that, usually I'm the one that locks him up and ends up either getting shoved into it or ending up in that wreck too, which the bonus of this league, you get one fast repair, and that would have been mine more than likely. But my brakes felt like I was racing a road course corner going into the last corner at Sonoma, because that thing, I mean, it braked perfectly. I didn't have a problem, so I was actually impressed with my pedals tonight. Usually that brake pedal's pretty awkward on locking them up, especially at a place where technically in real life the brakes are always crap because you're not ever going to use them. So that was pretty wild. And yeah, like I said, thanks to you guys. Thanks to the team. You guys always killing it in the booth. I'm excited to go back and watch this one, to actually not see me be turned around or upside down at a Talladega race. So
Definitely.
yeah, thanks again, boys.
Anybody else you want to thank before we let you out of here to celebrate your victory?
Not like I said, just the team. Max, Todd, Mike Peters, Trevor Dalton. I would thank Austin, but he's got to be on vacation, which shit sucks for him. And then again, you, Mike, and Zach up in the booth for always killing it. Can't wait to go back and look at this one.
Definitely. Well, congrats, Lynn, on your win, and maybe we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Well, we certainly were in for a treat tonight, Mike. We got to see a lot of great racing. Of course, we got to see some chaos here at Talladega. We're very used to that, but a lot of great racing here from SCL competition.
Yeah, definitely. They were all over the track, but for the most part, they kept it clean and kept it green for a lot of it. I mean, usually when you come to Talladega, you're thinking there's going to be some huge wreck, and yeah, we had a couple, but it wasn't near as bad as some of these races can become. And these guys battled back and had pretty good racing all across the track. I mean, we even saw some 3-wide for quite a while before anything, drastic happened.
Well, how about we go through the finishing results here from the 7th race of the season, sponsored, of course, by the aforementioned Power Washing Company, brought to you by Chris Vanderplatz. Here from Talladega, we have Justin Lewis taking home the victory with Maxwell Caldwell, Todd Merkel, and Barrett Flo, as well as Mike Peters rounding out your top 5. Mark Brown's going to bring this home 6th. Michael Mattis 7th. David Hanna 8th. Gary Ragland, we talked about him earlier. He's going to finish 9th. And Joshua Yarborough, talked about him looking at that replay. Didn't talk about him at all tonight, and he's going to come home with the top 10. Jonathan Casebeer 11th. Cody Oliphant will finish 12th. Derek Wegman will finish 13th. 14th will go to Justin Horton. Chris Vanderplatz will finish 15th. 16th is Josh Terrett Hill. Rebecca Leto, getting involved in that last incident, will come home 17th. 18th is Jeremy Flanagan. 19th will be Shane O'Neill. And 20th will be the 44 of Steven Johnson.
Yep. Then you got Lee Campbell and Alejandro
Montedosa.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll go with that until he wins a race or gets on podium, and he'll tell us how to correctly pronounce that name. And then we have Trevor Dalton and Lilith Peters in 23rd, 24th. 25th is Craig Forsyth, Ronnie Hurst in 26th, Greg Birch in 27th, Matthew McMeekin back there in 28th. 29th, Oli Marston, Kendall Kraft rounds out the top 30. Taylor Robinson, Zachary Archer, Klaus Williams, Daniel Staub, Bruno Latour round out that top 35. And then we go back to Todd Willis. Looks like he's the last one that completed any laps, as Matt Mettler, Chris Melton, and Adam Lowe did not. So that is the race here from Talladega. So lots of action going on. Anything you'd like to say before we shut down the show, Zach?
No, I had a great time up here in the booth with you, Mike, and it was certainly a treat here to get back in the booth after being away for a week, and we got to see a little bit of everything tonight from SCL competition.
Definitely did, and we will be back with SCL tomorrow night and Wednesday as well. Same time, same channel from all of us at Sim Racing Media and all the drivers of the SCL Cup League. We will see you next time. Good night, everybody.